Good afternoon. It's Robert Smullen. How are you?
Good, Assemblyman. How are you? How was you down in Johnstown?
I am. I'm down in the Mohawk Valley is where I'm from.
Okay. Well, you're running for Congress seeking the Republican nomination in what appears to be an upcoming primary with Mr. Constantino. Both of you are from the Mohawk Valley, but to be candid, sir, a lot of people don't know who you are, so why don't you tell us?
Sure. Yeah, I'm Assemblyman Robert Smullen. I'm a 24-year Marine Corps veteran. I currently represent the 118th Assembly District, which is Fulton, Hamilton, Herkimer, Montgomery, Oneida counties. I also used to represent part of the North Country in St. Lawrence County. Before that, I was the executive director of the Hudson River Black River Regulating District. In fact, I used to have an office in Watertown.
Mm-hmm.
We did flood control to keep the rivers regulated, so in the springtime it didn't flood.
You must know Carol Wright. Didn't she work there?
She did, actually. She and I also know Senator Jim Wright as well.
Yes.
We had worked together on a lot of projects with DANC, the Development Authority of the North Country.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's interesting. So you have a familiarity with Watertown, but on the other hand, you're asking people up in eastern Jefferson County and St. Lawrence and Lewis counties to vote for you. And what do you have to offer these people up here?
Well, what I've got is an entire lifetime that's been built on mission, on service, and putting other people first. One of the things I want to do is to be a real servant leader for the people. I think I've proved that in my assembly district. I've ran 4 times now. The last 3 times I've been unopposed. But more importantly, what people need to know about me is that I served 24 years in the Marine Corps, 3 combat tours in Afghanistan. In fact, after 9/11, we were the first Marines to go into Afghanistan. It was my unit. We did the air assault at the Forward Operating Base Rhino, and we seized Kandahar Airport after New York was so egregiously attacked on September 11th.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, thank you for your service, first of all. And obviously, you know, the military plays a big part with things up here at Fort Drum, correct?
Yes, that's right. And in fact, every time that I was in Afghanistan, I served with soldiers from the 10th Mountain Division. I'm very familiar with what goes on at the fort, but more importantly, what those young men and women do when they deploy all around the world. I think that's something that I would bring to the table that would be very important to know for the people in the Watertown area, is that I would have the backs of the soldiers at Fort Drum and know exactly what's going on in their lives and how to take care of them and to make sure that they're successful in this.
Mm-hmm. Well, our county, as you know, is split between the 21st and the 24th. I'm on the 24th side, so, you know, it's nice to have 2 members of Congress, but you really need effective lobbying ability for something like Drum, St. Lawrence Seaway, and certain other issues that are peculiar to this area, including dairy farming.
That's right. I've spent a lot of my time in the state assembly working on rural issues, amongst them knowing that agriculture is the #1 industry in upstate New York in total. It's really important to the people. It's important that someone knows the state level issues and then be able to take our voice, our values to Washington on those very issues. And that's something that I would definitely be able to do for the people of this district.
Other things, now your family comes from what, stone business or paving or something like that?
Well, we were actually in masonry construction.
Oh, okay.
My family was a proud Smullen family. We were did all sorts of building projects in Fulton County for decades. Proud union bricklayers and Allied Craft Workers Union, and that's how I grew up. From the time I was a 12-year-old to the time I left to join the Marine Corps when I was 22 years old, I kind of joked that I had a 10-year career in masonry construction, working for my family's business. Doing block, brick, stone, concrete, all sorts of things, building things of enduring value. It was a really great way to learn how to work. It instilled a very good work ethic in me, and I know how small businesses operate because I was part of my family's business growing up.
Yeah. You probably followed events last winter when it looked like there might be a special election for this district, and the Republican Party was just unable to coalesce around anyone. And, of course, that wasn't chosen through primary. It was through county chairs. But are you the I guess, regular Republican candidate? Are you the Stefanik wing candidate, whatever you want to call it, against Mr. Constantino?
Well, I got to say, I'm the only Trump-appointed conservative in this race. I've run both on the conservative and the Republican lines. President Trump actually appointed me to the President's Commission on White House Fellows in his first term because he trusted my leadership and my commitment to America First principles. That's what I mean when I say Upstate First, is we're going to bring those principles, just like Elise Stefanik has done, for the last decade or so. And I stand with President Trump and Elise for stronger borders, a stronger economy, stronger families. That's the bread and butter of what I've worked on, really, for the last 6+ years in the state assembly, lowering costs for families. Families are being crushed by inflation, investing in our rural economy, infrastructure, things like broadband, supporting small businesses. It's the very thing that I know all about, that I'd be able to take that to Washington on behalf of the people of this district.
Now, of course, if things play out as we suspect, you'll be running in a Republican primary against Anthony Constantino, the sticker mule guy. He's a little more of an unorthodox candidate, but he has resources. What do you think of him, and how are you going to run against him?
Well, I got to tell you, Jeff, I'm not going to spend the campaign responding to all of Anthony Constantino's lies. Otherwise, I don't think I'd be doing anything else. It seems he has a habit of projecting his own inadequacies onto other candidates, and he's already accusing me of all sorts of things. He claims to be an original day one Trump supporter, when the truth is that he wasn't even registered to vote in this district, and he never voted in the presidential primary in 2016 because during that time he was actually registered as a Democrat. Until recently he's been a Democrat. But I just want to say, I was proud to vote for President Trump in the election in 2016 and every other election that he was on the ballot, and I've actually served in his administration. President Trump took a bullet for the country.
Sure.
Served 3 combat tours in Afghanistan for this country. Well,
sounds like
Constantino puts out rap videos. So I think that's everything that the voters need to know to compare us in this election.
Sounds like Anthony's been doing the opposition research already on him. So the other Republican names get mentioned. Have you heard? I've heard Mark Molinaro, others. Is there someone else running, you think, or not?
Well, I do know for a fact that I'm the only sitting legislator that's actually running in this race. I'm willing to put my reputation and my time and my resources. People like to say, if you want to go far, you should go with friends. If you want to go fast, go alone. I prefer to go very far with friends, and I've been encouraged by a lot of people to run in this, and I'm going to run to win in this race. Okay.
If you win the primary, then you would have to face a Democrat. I guess there's a little bit of contest going on that side of the aisle, but it would certainly appear to me that Blake Gendabine is the most likely candidate. He's had a head start. He's been campaigning. He's raised, a fairly significant amount of money. And what do you think of him?
Well, I certainly think that a race in the general election, that I would win it. Look, this district deserves a battle-tested, service-driven conservative who reflects the values, our voice, our values in Washington, D.C. I've worked for President Trump. I've led troops in battle as a Marine Corps colonel. I've stood up for the last 6.5 years to the radical liberals in Albany. And now I'm ready for my next mission. That's for fighting for upstate New York in Congress. That's what Upstate First means.
Okay. On national issues, and I'm not going to try to go through all of them, but one of the ones in the news today are the blowing up of all those boats with the so-called narco-terrorists or whatever you want to call them. Are you comfortable with that when you watch it on TV?
I haven't seen the full video. I wasn't in that room where they showed, all the classified videos of it. And I'm very familiar with how those operations actually happen. I was in them in my career in the Marines. 24 years serving in the overseas, serving in the Pentagon. I know how these things work. What I am comfortable with is making sure that these drugs don't get into the United States. In fact, I have a bill that actually is going to provide fentanyl education. We've got an opioid epidemic, particularly fentanyl, that's killing our kids. And this is one thing that's happening. If we can stop this fentanyl from getting into the United States, that's a good thing. But the other thing we need to do is to make sure that our kids don't accidentally ingest these poisons and kill themselves. It's a terrible tragedy and I'm involved with a group called Fentanyl Fathers, which actually is designed to do just that. There's many things that need to be done on that front.
Well, nobody disputes the problems with drug abuse and wanting to stop this, but I guess the question with blowing up these boats is, would some kind of interdiction be better as they approach wherever they're going, or is it better to just blow them out of the water? Because you've killed about 86 people so far doing it.
Yeah, I think that's, the Department of War is an all-of-the-above approach to this. We'll see if it works and it actually reduces the amount of fentanyl that's coming into the United States. Like I said, that's what's killing our kids. That's what's got to be stopped. Okay.
Democrats have gotten a little bit of wind at their backs lately with the November elections, and a little bit down from Tennessee there, although they lost the race, but they seem pretty optimistic. Hakeem Jeffries seems optimistic, and it is an off-year midterm election, which usually doesn't favor the incumbent White House party. How's it look to you? I mean, it's an awfully thin margin.
Yeah, no, I think it's looking very great. In fact, I think the voters of this district know that to send someone like me to Washington, retired Marine Corps colonel, who knows the veterans areas, but also has all the issues that they need, is an aspirational servant leader. That's exactly the kind of person to send to Congress, to go toe-to-toe with these radicals, make sure that our voice and our values is represented. I'm a Marine, I'm a conservative, and I'm the only Trump-appointed candidate in this race.
Okay. And you're confident you can raise the money to be competitive?
Absolutely. We're well on our way. Like I said, Mayor, if we want to go far, you're going to go with friends. And that's exactly what I'm doing. I encourage everybody to go to www.robertsmullenforcongress.com. Take a look at my website, and if they'd like to put a donation in there to help in the cause, it would be a great thing.
Okay, sounds good. Anything else you want to add?
Well, I just want to know that for all the people out there, I'm from this area. I'm a native to this district. I've always been from here. I did my service in the Marine Corps. I've come home, and my goal is to run for Upstate values and take our mission to Washington, D.C. for Upstate, for Trump, and to take Robert Smullen for Congress.
All right. Well, Colonel, thank you very much for your time, and best of luck on the campaign trail.
Thanks so much, Jeff. Have a great day.
You too. Bye now.